Good morning, everyone. My name is Marianne Gilshrud, and I'm here to present to you information about the library learning resources. And these are sources and services for student success for the dual in the school program. First, I'm going to talk about the library resources. And just so that you know, I will do this presentation and talk about some things. And then I will go to the library homepage and other sources and kind of demonstrate that for you. So the first will be more of a presentation and the other will be a demonstration. So the library resources. So we're asking you to, when you're working with students, whether it's for their research assignments or if you're preparing to do work for your syllabus or assignments, that you can always begin with the library. The library is there to support you and your students in the work that they do. Here I've provided a variety of different library resources that will help you as faculty. And I'll demonstrate where these are. These are hyperlinked in the presentation that you'll get a copy of as well. But we have a link for faculty resources, which is a variety of different sources that the library provides that are specific to faculty. You can also request information literacy instruction. And so what that means is we will do either a 50 or 75-minute session based on your research assignment. So we work with you as faculty specifically to understand what the research assignment is for your students and what you're asking for them. And then we tailor our instruction session based on that assignment. Now, for this year, with everything going on, we are offering 3 different structures. One is what we call embedded, which is asynchronous for a week, where the faculty will be embedded directly in your Blackboard shell as a teaching assistant. And then we will post information there for the students and check in a couple times a day to answer any questions that the students might have. So typically, depending on the kind of standard assignment for English 1010 or Psych or Soc, we will be in there providing sources and services that facilitate their learning process. Like I said, this is async, so the students can kind of come in whenever they want to, do what they need to do, and then we respond to questions. The other type is a synchronous course. Again, it would be like a 50 or 75-minute class. It's a one-time course that we offer, again, based on your research assignment. We'll use Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and we're going to ask you to come into the library's instruction room, our virtual classroom, to the class will be done in that shell specifically. So we'll send out a link to the faculty, you send that to your students, and then you show up for this synchronous course of 50 or 75 minutes, depending on how your class is structured. And then we've also added an additional course offering called hybrid. And so what we will do for that is we will do a one-time synchronous class for 50 or 75 minutes using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Again, we're working with you and your students, so it's based on your assignment. So we'll record that, and then we're there to facilitate any learning or questions or answers that the students might have in that real-time session. And then we will also be embedded in your Blackboard shell for 7 days, typically, where we're there to answer questions, provide resources or services that the students might want. Then we have a research tutorial, and this is a multimedia tutorial that has like 8 different sections related to the research process. Here, some faculties will assign the whole thing, and then have the students do that before they come into instruction. Some faculty will only assign certain parts, and at the end of each section there's an embedded quiz, and the students can either turn in the results of that quiz to you or to the librarian, so we know what's going on there. So there's a certificate of completion for each different section. And then we have research guides and library databases. So these are sources and services on the PGCC library website that help you for your work. Also, we just started this project called Blackboard Virtual Library. It started a year ago in fall 2019. And what this is a portal of information that is directly in your Blackboard shell that provides library resources for your students. Now, what's really nice about this, and I'll be showing you this later, is that these sources show up directly in the Blackboard shell. So it keeps the students kind of where they are when they are. And when you're dealing with kind of novice users, sometimes moving students outside of the shell, they get lost and don't know where they are. Also, what's in this feature is a chat with the librarian. So if the students are in there working on their work and they have questions, they can use the chat feature right there, ask us questions. There's librarians on duty from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 on Friday, and 10 to 3 on Saturday during the school year. And we'll respond to the questions that the students ask. And in this case, we will help the students do the work. We don't do the work for the students. And as we get into the library homepage, you'll also see that the various pages on our website, we have a chat feature there. So if students get lost, they can always reach out and chat with us. So it really gives the students a lot of resources where they are, when they are, because they're in Blackboard all the time. Then we provide a variety of other services. I already mentioned the Ask a Librarian chat. So whether the students are chatting with us inside Blackboard or whether they're coming from like the library homepage or other pages, the librarians are there to field questions for the students. These tend to be short questions and answers. It's not a physical research session. So it wouldn't be something that would go on for 15 minutes. It's usually like a 5-minute kind of interaction in a chat feature. We also offer, and we can do that for faculty or students, whoever happens to hit the chat, we're happy to help. We also offer interlibrary loan. And so this is, we provide you or your students with resources. Right now, they're only digital that might help them for their research. So if for some reason you're searching in our library databases and there's a source there, nothing in print, we're not doing anything in print or no textbooks at this time, but we're doing digital interlibrary loan. So if you find something that you can't get directly in one of our databases, you can put a request in to receive the article, and it's sent directly to your email account. We also offer virtual library workshops, and these are on a variety of different topics. You can send your students to these workshops. Some professors actually give students extra credit for attending, but we tend to have them on a variety of topics. Some of them is about writing a research paper. Some of them are related to citation. So just things that are related to their research work here. Then we also will do virtual research consultations. And what these are planned in advance. You or your students can sign up for this research consultation. They tend to run 15 to 30 minutes in length. We need usually about 48 hours to schedule it. So you fill out a form, we schedule it with a librarian, and then they connect with the student or faculty. And again, this is done through Blackboard Collaborate. So we're meeting the students virtually, and it is kind of a compressed instruction session. And we ask students to kind of come prepared with, what class is it, what you've done so far, and we're helping them to do their work. Also, just to talk about off-campus access. So whenever you're accessing resources in the library, if you're on the library homepage, you can search there. But when you're trying to get into a database, it doesn't allow you to do that until you what we call authenticate, which basically is you're giving credentials to get to the database. Now, in this case, it's your Blackboard login. So we call it OWLlink, but it's basically however you log in with Blackboard, you can log in to this piece when you're trying to get to a database. And then the Tutoring and Writing Center, which is also part of Library and Learning Resources, offers a variety of services. These again now are all virtual. We will do tutoring on specific subjects that are with PGCC faculty. You need to schedule an appointment. They're done virtually through Blackboard Collaborate. There's also a tool inside Blackboard which is an online tutoring feature, like under student services, that is set up for usually 24/7. These are not PGCC faculty, and a lot of it is instruction that is more static and somewhat interactive, but sometimes it's more of a lesson plan. And then which is called Smart Thinking. We also have a math learning center, so we have math tutors that are available to help students with math in the chat room. We have the tutoring schedule. I provided a link to that, but basically the students need to request an appointment, and then they are assigned a faculty and a time, and then that information goes out. And the same thing with the Writing Center. The faculty are available. These are faculty tutors that are helping students on all phases of the research process for your papers. Well, the tutors help with generating ideas, coming up with thesis statements, organizing your materials, but basically anything related to research and the writing process. However, we do not write papers for you. We have had some students that think that the Writing Center is where you have the faculty write your paper for you, and that is not the case. We help you learn to do the work, so that's what the support is for. So we're hoping that you'll be very successful in the Dual in the School program. Please feel free to reach out to us, the library and or the Tutoring and Writing Center. Now I'm going to take you in just a minute now to the library homepage with other contact information. So just stay here for a second. So now we should be on the library homepage, okay? So a couple things about the library homepage. In the handouts, I provided you links with information to get to the library homepage, but let me show you in case you've never found the library homepage. From the PGCC homepage here, okay, you scroll down to the footer, all the way down to, I'm sorry if it makes you a little dizzy, I'll try to be a little slower. And in this footer here, where it says library, you can click on that. And then it'll take you right to the library homepage. So that's a quick and easy way to find the library. If for some reason you haven't been there before and you don't Google it or something, you're able to find that. So as you can see here, the library homepage has been structured with a variety of different sources and services. This left side here is the chat feature where someone can come in and ask questions. And we have the times that they're available. This center part in the middle is really sources, and I'll go over that in just a second. And then here we have the tutoring services and other source services, which I'll go over with you in a minute. And then on this right side here, where it says ask us, that'll start a chat as well. So these ask us buttons are on every page in the library, so that'll help you and your students if you have questions. Okay, so let's say, for example, that I want to do a search in here for systemic racism. Okay, this is what we call our search box. It searches across all of our content, and I'm just going to show you this real quickly to kind of give you a sense of how this search feature works. Okay, when I search here all, it's searching across all content, and I'm hitting search. Excuse me. With systemic racism, I have 72,000 issues, items here. I'm going to say specifically full text and online to limit it. When I'm limiting it in this way, I'm telling the search feature to narrow it in a specific way. For English 1010 classes, you don't necessarily have to have scholarly and peer-reviewed articles, but for Psych and Soc, you do have to have scholarly and peer-reviewed, and I would think the sciences as well. So this left side is filters. You can think of it as Amazon shopping, size, price, color, whatever, a brand name. And I'm going to look here, systemic racism in schools. I'm just going to add another word. And I'm down to 25,000. And now I might want to look at college students. And I'm going to put that with quotes around it, because when I do that, I'm narrowing it. And I'm telling this search feature to search it as a phrase. So I've gone from like 72,000 to 1,000 just by putting together 3 different concepts with the word and that are related to my topic. And this is if I'm looking at, say, the effect of systemic racism on college students. Here, I'm going to say I'm going to look at a journal article. So I'm limiting it again. I don't want dissertations and theses because they're like 300 pages. It's going to overwhelm the students. I mean, in my opinion, for what I would be working on. That's certainly your call. You could potentially have ebooks put in here if you wanted a certain format where you wanted something from a book chapter. You can limit it that way. I'm going to say I want information in the last 5 years. I'm down to 142. And I could narrow it even more by coming into this discipline and maybe say education, just put it that way. And I have 73. Now, I'm going to just click on this source. Okay, now this is what we call the off-campus access, where you're authenticating. And so I'm putting in my username. This is my Blackboard username, and then my password. I hit the login. And you can see it's not going to let me go. Oh, my system's going to take a minute to update here. Okay, let's see if I get that. Okay, there we go. So it won't let me actually get to my article until I've done that authentication. Now, what's really nice about this here, I can access the full text by this piece here. I can download it if I want to. The other thing that's very nice is that you can email it to yourself. And then also this has a feature of you can add it to your Google Drive or Microsoft Drive. So quick and easy ways to access information. The other thing has citations. And so if I were going to do MLA 8, I would go ahead and get the citation here. Now, these generators are very, very nice. The thing you have to be very aware of is that sometimes it can be garbage in, garbage out. So if there's a problem with the way this information is ingested by the database, it can cause a problem. So for example, I've done this before in another presentation, and I'm going along and I get this citation and I'm getting ready to show the students it. And I realize as I look at this, that this happens to be an article that the professors whose class I'm teaching had actually published this article. But her name was all wrong. Her middle name was her last name, and her last name was her first name. So that citation is incorrect. So while this is really great, it gives you really good information, you want to make sure that you and your students check it to make sure it's valid. Okay, so just good to know. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the home page again. Now the other thing here is we have this A to Z database and also subject list. Here I'm just going to show you, say for example, you want general interdisciplinary, say for English, and you can use Academic One file or ProQuest. The other thing I would do, usually for the English 1010 classes, the professors like opposing viewpoints in context. And this is a hot topic kind of database that has topics that are kind of current, that are in the news, and that students have questions about, where it's like a pro and con, he said, she said kind of thing that they teach for the classes. This is the research tutorial, and here I'm just, as you notice, I'm going down the middle page of the home page, just kind of showing you sources. So this is the research tutorial that I showed you before. This has like 8 pieces of the research process. Let's see, it's going to take a minute for this to update. It has a video transcript, so for people that have accessibility issues, or if they want to go back and just reread the information. I'm having some problems right now with there's a quiz directly embedded in here, but it looks like that's not updating very well. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, it's not working. There's usually like a click here. Let me see if I can show it from this one, if it's working any better under this one. No. Oh, okay, good. All right, so here, this is like a knowledge test, and there's questions, like 4 or 5 questions that the students can go through and answer. And at the very end, like I said, there's a certificate of completion where everybody can just say, my grades are here, and they can turn that in as a PDF, or they can have they can email it to you. So however you want to use this was designed to help students with the research process. So the research tutorial. Then here, This is virtual workshops. And so as I was showing you before, this is kind of the schedule of what we have. Research Tuesdays, you can check. Again, these are all with Blackboard Collaborate. The students come in, it's taught by a faculty librarian. The other thing we have are these things called course guides. So embedded, and I'll show you in a minute, embedded in your Blackboard virtual library is a specific course or subject guide related to your class. So for English 1010, you would have something like this directly in your Blackboard shell. This has a little bit of information about English. The research tutorial that I just showed you links out to that. And then here we kind of have the basic assignment with a caveat that refer to your professor if there's any questions. We also have like recommended databases. Let me see if I get that come up here. And you can search here. So it really is a portal of information for students right here in one place. And that's all actually in Blackboard in your shell. And then we have citation. So whether it's APA or MLA, it's embedded here. This is for English 1010. I know for sociology, it's ASA, which I'll show you that in a minute. But we have other sources and services across the top here, ebooks, streaming videos, or whatever. You can go through and look. So it's kind of a comprehensive library within a library specific to your course. And then this is a citation guide that has all the different guides on here. So here we have ASA for sociology, if you're using that instead of APA or MLA. Now, I want to show you here on the right side, before I go into the tutoring and writing, and this is a request research assistant. So if the students want to request a consultation, they can fill out this form and we'll get back to them and coordinate a time using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. This here is the instruction request. So as I indicated before, we have 3 different ways of offering this service to you. This explains a little bit about it. And you go into requesting the instruction. We're asking what type you want. Just fill in the information. Provide us with your assignment that you're giving the students. And then we reach out and talk to you to find out, what exactly you're looking for. So we're trying to collaborate with you so that we can tailor our instruction sessions to meet your needs as much as possible. Then this is the Blackboard Virtual Library, which talks a little bit about that, like what is contained in it. So it's just information about it. I'm going to show you, this is actually the Blackboard shell for an English 1010 course. Now, some of the English courses have a little bit more information in it, but in general, if you look at this, I'm going to go back here for a second. I'm going back, this is my course. Library 1010. I'm getting here to the announcements. Okay, this is what my typical Blackboard shell looks like. Okay, I'm going to click on this tab here called Library Resources, and this information boots up automatically for the students. Okay, so it has the guide, which I just showed you a minute ago. Again, this is in the Blackboard shell itself, right? I'm going to go back here when I want to go to the library resources. I click on this little square button and I come back out to announcements. I want to get over here. Okay, then the research tutorial. This is the list of databases that are available. This is just the alphabetical list, and here's the chat feature. So all this is available, again, as I said, in your Blackboard shell for your students to be using 24/7, basically, whenever they're doing their work. And then the other thing is interlibrary loan. Again, if you had any had request for an article that you needed, we're happy to fill out the form. We can get it to you. Then this is the faculty resources tab that might be of help to you. I've kind of gone over some of the information already about the instruction, interlibrary loan, and research consultation, but there's other services here that you may want to look at and resources that might help. Library liaisons, the information. My name's Marianne Gilchard. I'm the liaison for humanities and English. So I work with the faculty there in that area. So then the last piece I want to show you is the tutoring and writing services. So the Mathematics Learning Center is here. Like I said, you can request math tutoring. through Blackboard Collaborate, make an appointment, come in, the faculty work with you, answering your questions and helping you in whatever way you need. They're tutoring you on specific courses. And then the Writing Center, as I said, this is, again, is set up right now through Blackboard Collaborate. You make an appointment, you come in, the faculty work with you. Right now we're looking at current days availability, but just check and see, because this may update periodically. But the students can, you know, reach out to tutors to help them in the writing process. So I know I've covered a lot of information quite quickly. So how you reach the library, okay, that's right down here on the very bottom here. Let's see, you can, one thing is the chat. You reach us here through the chat. Faculty or students alike can chat with us. We're there, we'll respond to your questions. You can email us, you can hit this chat button and it'll take you to information there. You can text us. So these are ways that you can just contact the library in general. Let's see if I can go here for a second. Tutoring services. Let's see. So here's some other contact information for tutoring. So the Tutoring and Writing website, which is part of the library's site here. So you can look across the tab here and find the tutoring services and more information, or it's also hyperlinked on the front page. So feel free to reach out to the library for whatever assistance you might need. We're happy to help you. The Tutoring and Writing Center is also available to support you with your school needs. And have a great semester. I'm happy to help. Thank you very much.